Welcome to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and we have just witnessed Arizona suffer its first loss of the season. The Wildcats took on the Cyclones on the road in Ames, Iowa to open up Big 12 play. Iowa State came into the game ranked number 14 with a 4-0 record and a win already in the Big 12 as they played Kansas State to open up the season in Dublin. Now, Arizona, just like Iowa State, undefeated as well, going 3-0 with wins over a Kansas State team to close out the non-conference season. However, both teams entered the bye week. Arizona was banged up a little bit entering the bye week. As the availability reports came out ahead of the game, Arizona got healthier. They saw Trey Smith come back. They saw not Tacario Davis. They saw Kedrick Rossano not listed on the availability report. He did not play in the game. They saw Riley Wilson healthy. They saw Chuba Mae get healthy. Meanwhile, Iowa State lost their best corner, Cooper, for the season, potentially. He was out for the game. They saw other defenders drop like flies throughout the whole entire game. Yet, during kickoff, things started off a little rocky for the Wildcats. So Ishmael Mahdi potentially fumbling the opening kick. It was ruled that he was down. From that point on, Arizona went on an impressive drive that stalled out due to poor blocking by the tight ends group, due to poor blocking by Kean Burnett on a key play that could have gone for 15 yards. They had to settle for a field goal, and a bad snap, albeit a bad snap, was on the kick, but they still got the snap down, and Michael Salgado Medina hooked the 46-yard field goal to the right, pushed it to the right. Everything and anything went wrong in that game for Arizona. Iowa State was able to move the ball downfield and then convert a third down on a huge pickup of huge 40-plus yard pass. They burned Arizona's secondary all throughout the night. You had about 6 or 7 explosive plays, which are 20-plus yards or more, all through the air. Arizona secondary kind of got lit up in that regard, although Rocco Beck didn't throw for a touchdown pass. He ran for 3 touchdowns because they were on the 1-yard line consistently. So Arizona's secondary struggled in the game, and the Wildcats found themselves down 22-0 to start the game. That's not how you want to start off on the road. You go into a hostile environment in Ames, Iowa, you're not going to win those games. It's just not going to happen. You saw 2023 in Noah Fafita's first season as a starter, although he did not start that game. It was Jaden Delora. The Wildcats had 7 turnovers in that first half, but somehow magically found themselves in a 7-point game. But due to the slow start, they lost in overtime. You can't start off road games like Arizona has done. For Brett Brennan, that is the 4th straight road loss. Arizona fell 39-14. They couldn't get any momentum going. They finally scored a touchdown right before half to cut it to a 15-point deficit. And what happens? Iowa State comes out, marches downfield, scores again. All of a sudden, it's a 22-point deficit again. Then, bam, scores again. You're out of the ball game. It wasn't until it was 36 points or 29 points, whatever the number be, that Arizona was finally able to get in the end zone, and they had to convert a 4th down to do so with the passing touchdown. Nothing was going right for Arizona. They were being dominated on the offensive line. They were being dominated on the defensive line. Now, although the numbers play out where the teams were pretty even and Arizona passed for more yardage and this and that, it wasn't pretty. And they played a clean game. They only had 2 penalties the whole entire game. But third down conversions have been a problem for Arizona. It's not good. They're 4 of 13 for the game. You're not going to win a lot of ball games going 4 for 13. Meanwhile, Iowa State, they were 6 of 12. And they were 2 for 2 on 4th down conversions because guess what? It's 4th and inches. They just did the tush push, got the first down and a touchdown. So Arizona put themselves in a hole the whole entire game, and Iowa State capitalized. That's what good teams do. That's what physical football teams at home do. Arizona couldn't overcome it. Even when something went right for the Cats, a couple plays later, something went wrong. We saw Isaac Loveson get the punting duties for Arizona Again, that was something we looked at as a possibility, and we called that Michael Sagada-Medina was probably done punting for the year to try to relieve pressure off of him. And the first punt wasn't very good, but he averaged 44.5 yards per punt. So Isaac Loveson was very good. But as a whole, Arizona's special teams has been horrid this year. They've had a muff punt. They've had several missed field goals, had a block punt. I would give Arizona's special teams unit at this point in the season a D+, and that's being friendly because it's been pretty bad. They've got to make those adjustments. Defensively, again, the secondary coming into this game, in my opinion, is the best in the Big 12 and the top 15 secondary in the nation. And they've held opponents to under 100 yards passing the last 2 games. But big play after big play after big play for Rocco Beck. I know he's a good quarterback, good solid quarterback, but my God, and a penalty in the secondary on a ball that should have been batted easily, but you didn't turn around. There's a lot of problems there, a lot of problems. I thought Arizona's defense didn't play up to its standards, and you saw it kind of get away from them. But the main thing is, offensively, they kept on shooting themselves in the foot. And then play calling wise, and the announcers on the game, Brock Osweiler and Dave Fleming, mentioned this during the game, and I kind of agree with them. You're down by about 20 points in the fourth quarter. It's 4th and 3 at your own 30. With around 12 minutes left. Maybe 9 minutes left. Go for it. What do you have to lose? And then you just punt the ball. They slowly have a methodical drive. They throw a pick, but it was a methodical drive. You gave up the game. I get it. You don't want it to get out of hand, but the game's already out of hand. If you have any fight left in you, you battle right then and there. Overall, it was a game where it just seemed to snowpile for Arizona. They couldn't get out of their own way. Noah Fafita threw his first 2 interceptions of the year. It's his first 2 turnovers of the season. Both were pretty bad. You had the kind of a bootleg. They were faking the run up the middle and then faking the reverse. He turns around, thinks he has an open receiver out in the right side of the field, and just throws it right into coverage because they're playing a zone. The corner stepped up from his zone, easy pick, and they returned the ball 43 yards, setting up another score for Iowa State. Meanwhile, you're marching downfield near the end of the game. The game's over, to be honest. The game was over at that point. And you have an open receiver, and instead of throwing it on his outside shoulder, you throw on his inside, and it's an easy interception. So there are a lot of problems in this game for Arizona. I do believe this team is still a bowl team. I still think they're going to win 7+ games, probably go 7-5, get to a bowl game. More or less LA Bowl, Vegas Bowl, one of those two. But there's a lot of problems they need to fix because I think they are a better team than what they showed out there. I thought Iowa State was going to win the game going into it. I thought it was going to be a 1-possession game. I didn't think that Iowa State was going to just steamroll Arizona. They made Iowa State look like the best team in the Big 12 tonight. And are they? I don't know. They're very good. They're very good. I think Texas Tech's the best team in the Big 12. I liked BYU. I liked Kansas coming in, but Kansas fell flat on its face today as well. But there's a lot of issues this coaching staff needs to address getting ready for Oklahoma State. Because I tell you what, Oklahoma State isn't a good football team. But they showed a little bit of fight against Baylor today. Yes, it got away from them, but they're not a good team. But they showed some fight in that first half. If you play the way you did against Oklahoma State offensively and kind of shoot yourselves in the foot, Cowboys are going to be walking out of Tucson with a victory. Arizona has a lot of time right now, and not a lot of time, but there needs to be some self-evaluation is what I'm saying. Because that effort on the road wasn't good. And so far in the Brent Brennan era, that has been the case in most road games for Arizona. Yes, they beat Utah on the road last year, but Utah wasn't a very good football team by the end of the season. They got blown out at BYU. They got blown out at Kansas State. They got blown out at Central Florida, who wasn't good at all. And they got blown out at ASU. There needs to be some self-evaluation, not only with the players, but the coaching staff, and figure out how to get these road games right. And I'm not saying you need to win every single road game, but you got to be competitive. And Arizona just flat out was not competitive against Iowa State.